At the end of 5th grade, I was given an application to be a part of the Junior United Nations Assembly, also known as JUNO. It's an organization that students from many different areas participate in. In JUNO, you choose a country to represent, and you spend the first semester of school intensely learning everything about the country and its relationship in the world. It's a great opportunity for kids because they get to write a resolution and convince each other that their resolution is the best. While I was filling out the application, I came to the question: would you be willing to do extra homework and work over the summer? That question left me stumped. I continued on with the rest of the application, then came back to the question. Again, I couldn't answer it. What I did know was that I didn't want to do any extra work. So I answered no. Later that day, my teacher read my application and asked me if I was sure that I wanted that to be my answer. I said yes, but I didn't realize what I was giving up. That night, I told my mom what I said and why I said it. She was obviously surprised at my decision and told me that I should not have been afraid of the extra work. At first, I was defensive because I didn't think it was a big deal. But looking back, I think I was upset because I knew I just let something important slip through my fingers. That summer ended up being very beneficial. As fortune would have it, I met a couple of great role models at a lacrosse camp at the Macaulay School. The head coach's son, TJ, took me under his wing. I'm not even going to begin listing all his accomplishments because there are so many, but when I met him, he had recently graduated from playing Division I lacrosse at North Carolina and signed with the Florida Launch, a professional lacrosse team. He was working hard, so I thought, why don't I work hard? He encouraged me to take on all the challenges that were thrown my way and dared me to work as hard as I could. He helped me see the benefits of hard work and integrity. This was impactful because I hadn't really done that before, but now, especially after seeing what taking advantage of hard work and opportunities may yield, I was inspired. After that summer, I approached the year with a completely different attitude. I decided that I would apply my newfound work ethic to all aspects of life. At the end of the first day of school in 6th grade, when JUNO members left class to go to their meeting, all of my friends and most people left. I immediately knew the scale of my mistake. I knew that I could have been one of the ones walking out if only I had been willing to say yes to the challenge of additional work. My decision about JUNO lingered in the back of my mind that past summer, and I recognized my mistake. And now, I was going to do something about it. That afternoon, when I got in my mom's car, I acknowledged that I had made a mistake by not signing up for JUNO. I gave my mom the biggest chance to say, "I told you so." And now, looking back on that experience, I can boil down my mistake to the idea that I, and maybe many of you out there, avoid extra work. I wasn't sure if this was right or not, so I decided to create a survey for students at my school based on one goal: to see how much or how little students value hard work. Here is what I learned. I found that most students want to do all of these extracurricular activities, but they can't because they don't have the time. Out of 140 students, 76% said that they would join an extracurricular activity that they would enjoy. But the majority of students said that their primary after-school activity already takes up 10 or more hours each week. Going through an average student's day, if they participate in an activity such as sports, art, or music, they get home after practice at 5:30. If they participate in another extracurricular activity, that is an additional 2 hours of work each week. When the students get home, most have about 2 to 3 hours of homework waiting for them. If the students work efficiently, they will be done by 8 o'clock. That leaves the students 2 hours to have dinner, spend time with their family, and, if they're lucky, a little downtime. When students were asked if the amount of schoolwork they have stops them from pursuing their interests, 76% said it did. 76%. Despite what we assume, students are interested in pursuing academic and enriching challenges, but they don't think they have the time. For example, when I asked whether or not students would be willing to do a fun project for school, one that was not for a grade, but would take a long time to complete, only 31% said they would. Why? The most common reason stated was their lack of time. On the survey, I asked, if you could take a class that has more work, but the teacher is better, and you will learn more, would you? You know what? 66% said they would. Students are expected to be stewards of their own time, and they are showing responsibility by stating over and over that they do not have time. But if students can see a clear benefit, then they will be much more motivated to take on harder challenges that require much more time to accomplish. The most interesting thing about this survey is not that students have no time. It's that they have a strong work ethic. How is that even debatable when they have 10 or more hours of homework and 10 or more hours of sports each week? We know they are doing both, so we have to assume they care and put in effort. So, what does that mean? Kids need to find a better balance. Homework and sports cannot take over your life. You need to find time for other opportunities. You deserve it. When you spread yourself too thin, think of all that you're missing out on. Think of all the hobbies and projects and lessons and life experiences that you aren't taking advantage of. Sure, sports matter, so does school, but, and I hope you believe me, those are not the only things in life that matter. So, move some things around, make some more time, and dig into something you want to do. I was lucky enough to have made the mistake of not signing up for JUNA because I was afraid of the extra work. That mistake ended up giving me a year of daily reminders that helped me find a different approach to my life. What worked for me was doing something I love in the summer with no time pressure. The majority of students from the survey have shown that they have already accomplished the hardest part of the puzzle, work ethic, but now they need to learn how to spend their time in an activity that will challenge them and give them many more opportunities for their future beyond the junior high. So, the next time an opportunity comes up, lean on your already established work ethic and try to make the time to do it. Thank you.